up in your face.
I'm gonna come.
What's up, everybody? Renee in the house. Happy Friday. Happy Deadpool and Wolverine Day. Happy weekend to everybody. What's up? I'm glad to be here on this lovely Friday. I already see Star-Lord in the house. What's going on, Star-Lord? Ficon, I hope you're playing FIFA well. Hope you ain't losing. Jester also in the building. What's up, everybody? Really glad to have you on board here today. Hassan, what's going on? Comic-Con Festival Showcase is tonight on IGN. So for those of you who will be available to watch that, tune in for that. Thank you, Hassan, for the reminder. Personally, I don't watch IGN stuff, but, you know, at least they have good coverage of Comic-Con and all that. There's another channel that I love every time this time of year, that I don't know, I'm pretty sure they have an in with someone who does a lot of the videotaping at Hall H. I forgot what it's. I believe the channel's called At the Movies or something movies. They get to record all the panels at Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con, and they post it on their YouTube channel. Now, obviously, they cut away whenever there's like a premiere of something or a trailer that's not supposed to be made to the public yet. They cut away all that stuff, but at least you get to see the conversations, the Q&As, you know, you get to see like the people go on stage, the big reveals like that. So I love that. So knowing that the Marvel panel, Marvel Studios panel is this Saturday at night, I'm pretty sure this channel is going to have a lot of that Hall H covered and put on YouTube. And I can't wait to check that out, because obviously we're not there and they don't do a really decent job at allowing us, those who cannot make it, see these things, you know, remotely. So I love that there are channels like that that can do that kind of stuff for us who are not going to be there. So really, really appreciate channels like that. And I appreciate all of you, again, for tuning in on this lovely day. For those of you who have seen Deadpool and Wolverine, there is a poll on the chat right now. Let us know your thoughts. Is Deadpool and Wolverine the best MC movie since Avengers Endgame? Let us know your thoughts. And obviously today is going to be nothing but Deadpool and Wolverine talk. The way it's going to go is that I'm going to give my thoughts and review on the movie without any spoilers. No spoilers. I ask also those in the chat to keep the same way. Don't spoil anything just yet. And then later on, we will be talking my favorite moments of the movie. And obviously that's going to be filled with spoilers and all that. So that's just basically how that's going to go. You'll know when we can talk about spoilers the minute I have the spoilers tag up on the screen. So keep an eye out on that and we'll have fun like that. What's going on? Scorch chiming in on the vertical stream. He's watching the opening ceremony. That's right. That's happening in Paris right now. So I'm going to be watching the replay of that later on Peacock. So who else is excited for the Olympics? I am. I don't know why, but I'm such a sucker for the Olympics every time it comes around. I just freaking there's certain events that I love watching, and right now it's the Summer Olympics, so obviously I'll be watching gymnastics, but I also love archery. I love the track and field stuff is always fun to watch. I love volleyball, like the indoor volleyball. Not so much the beach volleyball, but I love the indoor volleyball because it's so fast paced and it's crazy. I love watching soccer or football, depending on where you are. So I just love, I don't know, I get hyped up and I'm going to lose sleep for the next 2 weeks because this damn Olympics is on. But I'm super excited. So who else is excited for the Olympics? Or am I just the only crazy one? Star-Lord saying, woke up, came online to do some downloading, and boom, catch the live stream. Yep, today I decided to go a little early, 1 hour earlier than normal, because I just wanted to talk about this thing right away. Plus, I have to jet like around 4:30ish, closer to 5, because I have some things I need to take care of today on my end. So I'm glad you were able to chime in, to jump in early. Jester, hey, I was wondering before you get started, how much are the popcorn buckets? And I will tell you, because that's part of what I wanted to talk about, because I went a little nuts with that stuff. Just a little nuts with that stuff. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Karthik, what's going on, Karthik? Karthik, let's not do any spoilers right now. So, I mean, I appreciate the comment, but I'm going to, and no fault to you, I am just going to remove this comment for now. I read it, and I know what you're saying, but I just don't want, we're not talking spoilers just yet, okay? And we'll talk about that later on. So I can't answer if Deadpool and Wolverine is the best since I haven't seen it yet. I'm not judging based on overhyping. No, Karthik, no worries, no worries. I'm sure you didn't know. I just want everyone to be able to enjoy a spoiler-free talk for now. And then once you see the spoiler tag I'm going to have on the screen, then we'll be able to talk spoilers there. But I read your comment, and I will address that later on. What's going on? Anoop? Anoop saying Deadpool and Wolverine's the worst movie he's seen in the theater. Best movie, Marvel movie is more, I like it. Okay, well, Anoop is not a fan of Deadpool and Wolverine, and I get that. And I will talk about that as well, too. I figure, you know, I'm going to look at this movie from both lenses. You know, from a non-comic book lover or non-lover of just these superhero movies in general, and a more kind of critical mind when it comes to cinema. I'm going to talk about it from both points of view, because I do remember, I mean, not that I remember, but I do understand both sides. I really do. Karthik said, fun movie, didn't like the ending. Yeah, I can kind of see why that would be. Yeah, I agree with that. But before we talk about the movie, we might as well just jump into it now. And again, for those of you watching on the live stream, please don't forget, hit that like button. Everyone here would greatly appreciate it. You know, the old timers, the ones who come in every time, we all appreciate every time hits that like button, because it helps grow this community, and it leads to fun discussions about topics such as the ones we're having today. All right, so I have to say, the marketing for this freaking movie has been off the charts, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's going to do so well this weekend in the movies. But the in-theater merchandising has been bananas for this movie. I haven't seen in-theater merchandise go this hard in a very, very long time, and every theater chain has their thing, and it's crazy. It's nuts. I agree, Starlord. Hugh Jackman is fun. RL, are you going to open the panel? What panel are you talking about, RL? Just curious what you mean by that. So what I did yesterday, and because I wanted to grab it, because I feel like it's very iconic, especially in the pop culture zeitgeist and all that, I had to get myself a Wolverine popcorn topper. I had to. I just had to. So what I did is I woke up very early yesterday, and the Wolverine popcorn topper is only at AMC theaters here in the United States. So there is an AMC theater. It's like a good 15-minute drive away from me. And I rushed over there around 9:30, got there at 9:30, and I bought a ticket. So I went to see Longlegs again, because I wanted to rewatch it, because I wanted to take some notes on it, because I'm planning to do like a video on it on the channel soon. And I was there with at least 15 other people who were just there just to buy this thing. And I had a good conversation with the guy. He's like, yeah, I'm actually supposed to be working right now. He's like a landscaper or something like that. And he's like, I'm on break. I took my break early because I wanted to run over here and get myself one of these popcorn toppers. I'm like, well, there you have it. So I go in there, and yeah, basically, not only did I get a popcorn topper, bucket topper, but I got a popcorn bucket itself and a cup, which I have right here. The Deadpool cup, this is probably one of the coolest cups. And I don't normally buy these things, but I couldn't help myself. This thing is fantastic. And what makes this so nice is that it's full rubber, so it actually feels quality. It feels pure quality. Now, did I go a little crazy paying $29.99 for this thing? You bet I did. Do I think it's worth that? Probably not. But I went ahead and I bought it anyway. I guess what's good about this too is that you could bring it to AMC and they can refill it for you and all. Plus, it comes with a topper. So let me grab that. You get a choice of topper. And you had a Wolverine, you had Deadpool, and you had Baby Pool as your choices for topper. So I chose Baby Pool because I thought it was the funniest thing. Now the cups, they also have it available as Wolverine as well. Same quality, rubber, all that stuff. Very, very cool stuff. And it's just pretty damn neat, you know. So now I could add this as one of my house cups that I'll be using, you know, for everyday use and all that. So, and here is the Baby Pool topper. Hopefully you could see that. That is good old Baby Pool. And this sits right on top of the cup. You pop it in, and there you go. Now I have Baby Pool hanging out on my Deadpool cup. Now, Regal has their own set of toppers that you could buy individually. They have a Deadpool sitting in a movie theater chair, I think drinking a soda, and then you have Wolverine separately sitting in the same chair eating popcorn. So yeah, so this all in all, Karthik, costs $29.99. Is it worth it? Maybe not, but if you're a fan, then I think it's something worth picking up. Star-Lord, they not watching the movie, they just want popcorn bucket. That's the yeah. Well, showings yesterday started around 3 p.m. I guess that was the allowed time to start the movie. So being there that early, you couldn't see the movie. But I spoke to some of them that were there, and they said they all had their tickets for a later showing. So, for example, the landscaper guy, his ticket was for 9 p.m. So he said, but he wanted to rush to the theater because he had a feeling that these merchandise was going to sell out, right? So he wanted to at least be able to grab it first, and then he'll watch the movie later. So Karthik saying the production design was terrible, and then Deadpool and Wolverine. So yeah, I'll talk about that in a little bit too. So of course, along with that, I had to get this guy. I just had to. How can you not? Full mouth and all. Fuck you, motherfucker. I had to. This was a this was a necessity. I'd never got the Dune popcorn bucket topper, but this is the one I had to get because it's just glorious. It really is. What's going on, Tay Tay? Saying Deadpool and Wolverine is amazing. They saw it today. Deadpool and Wolverine is the best movie since Endgame. So there you go. There's someone who is a big fan of the movie. So yeah, so this thing is fantastic. Fantastic. This cost $39.99. Again, is it worth it? Wait, this 30. It may be $29.99. Don't quote me on that. It's either $29.99 or $39.99. Actually, you know what? What am I doing? I have the receipts right here. Let me be accurate for you guys. All right. So $29.99. Yeah. $29.99 for the Wolverine mouth. Because that's basically what you're getting. You're getting a Wolverine mouth. The cup was $24.99. Okay. So again, $29.99. And it does come with a bucket of popcorn. But the bucket of popcorn is just your regular, typical paper bucket. Like, it's not something worth keeping onto. I threw mine away. But this can fit on any standard size large popcorn bucket that they sell at movie theaters. So, so yeah. But again, it's glorious. It's really fantastic. I couldn't help myself. I just had to get it. MJ2 Studios, what's up? What's going on? Chiming in on the vertical stream. I just saw Deadpool Wolverine and my face was just... That's my... Or have Wolverine do it for you. Emojis all across the board there. So, yeah. People are going to go nuts for this movie. I'm telling you, this movie is going to be bananas. Bananas. This movie, the projections right now is it's going to do like around 150, 160 million domestically. I think it's going to top 200. I at this point, I think it's going to be 200 because the theater yesterday at 4 p.m. in the afternoon was at capacity as if it was a nighttime showing. And I could only imagine at night. It's the first time that I saw in my theater, they have a secondary concession stand all the way in the back that's never opened. They opened it yesterday because they had to. There was just too many people. And the line for concessions was bananas. MJ2 Studios, best Marvel movie of all time. Wasn't expecting the cameo. Don't spoil it just yet. We'll talk about all those things in a little bit. But I'm so happy that you enjoyed the movie. Ficon saying, bro, I was leading 5-0 in FIFA, then my game crashed. Oh, no. That sucks. I can't believe that. I hate when that happens. Sorry to hear that, man. Karthik saying, that's like 2.5 thousand here in Indian rupee. Super expensive. Here, 4DX tickets were selling for less than that price. Oh, wow. Really? That's crazy. I don't know how anyone can watch a movie like this in 4DX, honestly. Because, especially for your first time watching the movie, it would drive me nuts. I would probably end up throwing up. Starlord saying, I'll buy that for $1. MJ2 Studios saying, I can't say who it is because I don't want to spoil for people who haven't seen it. Thank you so much, MJ2 Studios. Everyone here who hasn't seen a movie will really appreciate it. All right. So, got this at AMC. Got the cup at AMC. One last thing that I picked up at AMC that I wasn't expecting to pick up at all. And mind you, I did not watch my movie at AMC. My movie was for Regal later on in the day, in the afternoon. This sucker right here. Headpool. This thing, the quality of this thing is bananas. This looks like something you would buy at a prop store. This looks like something Hasbro would put out as a collectible item. This is freaking nuts. And what is it? This is a popcorn bucket. An actual collectible popcorn bucket. I haven't really opened it yet because I was waiting for the stream to do it. And there's a tape around it. So I'm going to open this here live. And we'll look at it. We'll take a look at it. This itself, this was the one that cost, let's see here. I believe this was, where are you? $39.99. So this was the most expensive thing that I got yesterday. $39.99. So Headpool, $39.99. Wolverine Big Mouth Topper, $29.99. Collectible cup, which I think is fantastic, $24.99. And of course, they all come with drink and popcorn. I refused the second bucket of popcorn because I can't be eating 2 buckets of popcorn unless I want to get sick. Some ASMR, how'd you like that? That must have been good. All right. So, how the hell do you open this thing? I don't even know how to open this thing. Hold on. I think they have instructions on the plastic. MJ2 Studios, in the theater, I watched it in. There were people who were standing because all the seats were full. I'm lucky I got a fifth row seat. The room was giving off energy like we were at a rave. It was crazy. Oh man, where did you see it at, MJ2? Where are you chiming in from? Let us know. Because all I know is that the movie theaters here in the US, they would never let you stand up in the theater. But the energy was strong yesterday, all throughout. It really was. Oh, here we go. Got it. So, hardly ASMR. I'm sorry. I know. I wasn't planning it to be. All right. So here we go. We got Headpool. And his head just like pops open like that. I'm trying to get a good view for the vertical stream. And inside is a collectible stand that you could like display him at. His little helicopter thing on the top of the head, if you know who Headpool is. And this is no spoiler. I mean, you know, based on the trailers, that there are some other Deadpool variants that show up in the movie. You know, some of these guys, they only show up on screen for like not even a full minute. So it's crazy that they make merchandise like this, but it's hilarious. Jester saying movie theater popcorn makes him incredibly sick. If I eat too much without really having a full meal, I get sick too. But I don't throw up. It's down below. So here he is. Here's his little copter. And that's Headpool right there. And his mouth moves. Bah! Watch my movie. I'm the best, bitches. I mean, how awesome is this? This is so cool. This is like one of the coolest things. And again, I was not expecting to get this at all. I wanted my topper. And I saw the cup and I was like, oh, I have to get that cup. But fantastic stuff, really fantastic stuff, right? It is expensive. I will say that. I'm not gonna deny the fact that it is pretty pricey. But for what you're getting, if you're a fan, and if you're like me, I just like unique things that come from movie theaters. Like I remember when I was younger, they used to have lobby cards that you used to give out for free. Some movies came with programs. You know, I have a program from like when I went to watch Muppets Take Manhattan. You know, I remember when they used to do that stuff. They don't do that anymore. And obviously, they don't give anything out for free. So everything you have to pay for, right? So yeah. So very cool stuff. So that's AMC. Now, something to note too, AMC also has regular tins. Nothing as fancy as this, but they also have regular tins and all that. Give me 1 second, guys. They have like regular tins you can get too, you know, if you didn't want to spend so much money on that stuff. And that, you know, they have like regular stuff that you can buy that's not like so fancy like this. So later on in the afternoon, I went to finally go catch my screening for Deadpool and Wolverine, which was at Regal. Regal had their typical tins that had like a figure attached to it. You could get one with Deadpool, you could get one with Wolverine. They have their own cups where you could do the toppers. It looked okay. Didn't look like anything fancy or crazy. But I did see something that they sold that drove me bananas, and I had to get it. Started saying, I love nachos and cheese. I do too. I also love it when it's the not the prepackaged ones, but I love the one that they pour over right there in front of you and add the jalapenos on top of it. Oh, it's so choice. I love that. I love that. And not a lot of theaters do that anymore. They always have the prepackaged stuff. Start a little popcorn, can't finish it. I agree. That's a great combo. MJ2 Studios, my friend here in Israel, has a private theater that can fit 3,000 people. Wow. 3,190 people if we have a full house, and there's people who want to see the movie. Theater is built for concerts and movies. That's awesome. That sounds amazing. To think that you had a packed house like that just to watch Deadpool and Wolverine. That is fantastic. That's awesome. Quick reminder, everyone who's watching live, don't forget, hit that like button. For every like button that you hit, it brings a smile to Deadpool and Wolverine's face. I guarantee you. They told me. They told me before I went live. Guys, this is bananas. This one, what I'm about to show you is bananas. It really is. I don't know the practicality of this thing at all. But you know what? I don't care. What the living hell is this? This is a baby pool all-in-one concession holder. I'll explain, because not only could this stand alone to be a brilliant display piece in a background, which I'll probably have once I, do my move and all that stuff, but it's also a usable all-in-one concession holder. It's crazy. Now I need the instructions for this one to kind of figure out how to operate this damn thing. Let's see here. So that pops up and that got it. Okay. All right. So this is how this thing works. MJ2 Studios, it was free too because the person who owned the theater, it was their 50th birthday. So, oh wow. So everyone who was there got to see Deadpool and Wolverine for free. That's awesome. People could still tip if they wanted to. That sounds awesome. You had a great experience there. Star-Lord, for every like, Wolverine will not have whiskey dick for the claws. That is correct. That is correct. Okay, now they're going too far. What the fuck, movie theater? I know. This thing is freaking bananas. The practicality behind it makes no sense. So I push this button here, right? And that releases the top portion of the seat, right? So the top portion of the seat here, believe it or not, this is supposed to hold your beverage. There's where you put the straw. And this comes with its own straw. So you put the straw inside here, and this is how you would drink your drink. Now, how do you get in there? You pop open this top, and it's like a little canteen. So you put your drink in here, and there you go. You have your little beverage. The popcorn fits in the back. So this will open up, and it's taped up right now. Let's see if I can open this here. Give me 1 second, guys, as I peel off the tape here. There we go. All right. So here we go. So this opens up, and your popcorn goes in there. Is it practical? Absolutely not. Is it a fun novelty thing? 1000% yes. So there you go. So with your drink and your popcorn in place, all of a sudden, this becomes your all-in-one concession holder. Plus, it looks pretty damn awesome as a display piece. So this was the major offering at Regal Cinemas. And this cost $39.99 for this. And of course, it comes with its own straw. $39.99 for this bad boy. Is it worth it? How big of a fan are you? That's how I'll phrase it. How big of a fan are you? Was it worth it to me? I've never seen anything like this ever before. So I had to get it. And I'll say this, after my screening of Deadpool and Wolverine yesterday. So I left the theater. The movie is like just what, like a little over 2 hours or something like that. So I like around 7 o'clock is when I was heading out. I checked the concessions just out of curiosity. All of these guys sold out. Completely sold out. So I could only imagine how it was at AMC with their popcorn topper and stuff. Those things are probably all sold out too. Why? Because people get into the craze. People get into the craze of it all. You know, it's brilliant marketing. It's brilliant retail, point of sale, spur of the moment shopping. Everyone goes in there probably not expecting that they're going to walk away with something. But the minute they see it, and I'm sure if they have kids, well, you shouldn't be bringing kids to this movie. But if you have teenagers with you, they're probably like, oh, that's pretty dope. I want that. Boom. You made your sale right there. Right. So it's amazing, the marketing behind it all. I spent so much money. I kind of regret it. But at the same time, I kind of don't, you know, it's just a once in a lifetime thing. And, you know, again, it's just, I got caught up in the fever of it all. I will say the fever got me, guys. Fever got me. But you know what? It's fun. It's fun. And when I have my new setup, like in the next, 3 months or something like that, I'll make sure that they're nicely displayed behind me. And it'll be part of the set. And I can't wait. I'll love every minute of it. Jester saying, that is awesome. Star-Lord, a cup holder. I would never have guessed. Star-Lord, make that money, y'all. The economy is booming. Jester, me and my dad got the Deadpool and Wolverine friendship necklaces. Oh, that's awesome. He is Deadpool. I am Wolverine. That's very cool. Where did you get those from? That's awesome. MJ2 Studios, people still, usually tickets cost $80. Wow, that's pretty expensive. Deadpool and Wolverine is also free on YouTube with ads. By the way, I watched Deadpool and Wolverine 3 hours ago. So, YouTube with ads? I don't know if that's true, unless someone uploaded it illegally. Or I don't know how it is in Israel, but that's interesting. Gesture, they sell them at Hot Topic. Oh, cool. Very, very cool. That's awesome. So yeah, so if you are, and again, these are just samples of what you could find at the movie theaters here in the United States. Again, just to recap, this cup that you see here, this was $24.99 at AMC with your little choice of topper, right? And there were 3 options. There was a Deadpool, there was a Wolverine, and then there was a baby pool. Again, Regal has their own set of toppers that you could buy separately. And they all work, they're all kind of universal, so they all work the same. The Wolverine Big Mouth Popcorn Tub Topper was $29.99. And the Head Pool Collectible Tub was $39.99. And then at Regal, like I said, they have your various options there and all that. But the mega all-in-one concession holder with popcorn and beverage holder that features baby pool in the movie theater seat, that was $39.99. And of course, it came with popcorn and drink also. It's just at that time I refused it because I just couldn't eat any more of that stuff. So yeah, that's what to expect That's going to be some of the stuff that's probably going to hit your face when you go watch the movie this weekend and all that. MJ2 Studios, the cameos caught me by... Yep. All right, let's talk about the movie now. All right, so that was all about what to expect, and I forgot to put this up here. It doesn't matter. I mean, I think everyone knows at this point we're all talking about Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine and all. You know. So... And I remember I came home last night after watching the movie. I took a lot of notes. Meaning I wrote them down afterwards. I wasn't in the theater taking notes because I wasn't going to do that for this movie. No way. So, you know, when they announced that Deadpool and Wolverine was going to come out, when Disney was going to do a movie like this, obviously, a lot of people were expecting or wondering, how are they going to stay true to the Deadpool movies? You know, are they going to do the hard R's and all that? Are we going to see a lot of violence? You know, what about curses and all? And the more and more teasers that we got, obviously, the more it looks like they're going to be staying true to how the original Deadpool movies were, right? Also love the fact that they're going to have Hugh Jackman come back to reprise his role as Wolverine. And we're finally going to get the team up that a lot of people, fans of the comics and fans of superhero movies, were all expecting, right? And we're all kind of hoping we'll get to see, right? And we got it. And one thing I'll say off the bat is that the chemistry with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman is off the charts. It reminds me very much of the same chemistry that Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart has. It's such a lovely kind of bromance that they have going on together, and it actually transfers onto screen. You see them work so well together. A lot of great back and forth, a lot of great one-liners, a lot of great, you know, action sequences with them in it. It's so well done. And honestly, it's very well written. I think having Sean Levy here direct this movie, who worked with Ryan Reynolds on many occasions, was the right choice for this movie. However, I will say I don't think Sean Levy would have been the right choice to direct an Avengers film. I have that thought in my mind, and I'll explain a little bit more about that later on. And I'm going to be very, you know, objective here. When you strip out a lot of the fanfare and when you strip out a lot of the major things that the fans will love, the movie in itself is not a good movie. I know a lot of people are going to say, what? When you take out all of these elements that made the movie work, which is mostly the fanfare, the cameos, right? When you take all of that stuff out, the movie is just not a great movie. However, it's because of all those other elements in there. It made the movie so enjoyable. Extremely, extremely enjoyable and entertaining and fun. There was a lot of laughter. I laughed so much. I gasped a lot. I cheered a lot. You know, and everyone else in the audience were doing the same things too. This is the No Way Home of the Marvel movie history. You know, No Way Home was kind of like a nice homage to all the Spider-Man movies since the early 2000s. This movie is, and I know I've seen a lot of people say this was like a love letter to the Fox, you know, studios ownership of like X-Men and Fantastic Four and all that. It goes beyond that. It's everything. It's like a nice love letter to the fans who endured and watched Marvel films before there was an MCU. And that's all I'll say without giving any other spoilers, you know? And you were well rewarded for your endurance, for watching a lot of those movies from like the late 90s, early 2000s that came out, you know, the early X-Men movies, right? even through to the more current iterations of X-Men, Fantastic Four, all of these things. Like, just imagine all the movies that Marvel have put out before MCU, and you have got a brilliant love letter of a film that is so much fun and so enjoyable. It's for me personally, it is the best movie since Endgame that Marvel has put out there. MJ2 Studios, don't forget about Mo Howard, Curly Howard, Champ. I agree. They were all greats. Still laughing at the I'm Marvel Jesus line. Yes, very famous line from the trailer too. MJ2 has to go. Try to make the next stream. Thank you so much, MJ2 Studios. A pleasure to have you on the vertical stream. Really, a lot of fun. And I'm glad you enjoyed the movie. Seriously. But yeah. Everything that they put in there was fan service that a lot of fans have been dying for, have been waiting for, have been speculating, have been creating in their own ways. Just imagine sitting down. Remember, like when these movies came out, and you would sit down with your friends, and you'll have your little conversations, you'll have your little speculation moments, you'll have your like, wouldn't it be great if? Wouldn't it be great if this, right? They did a lot of that stuff here for you, right? And it was just an enjoyable, fun, very fun romp of a ride of a movie. But I can understand why critics wouldn't like this movie at all. I can totally get that. Because like I said, if you strip a lot of those pieces out, take out all the cameos, you take out all the little comic book references, you take out all of some of the action scenes that really, I'll be honest, there are 3 main action scenes in here that is not necessary. It's not necessary at all. But it was fun as hell watching. It really was. But was it necessary for the story? Not really. But it was a blast to watch, right? And you got a lot of action scenes here. In the first, maybe I want to say 10 minutes of the movie, right? The whole opening sequence, especially during the whole opening credit sequence, if you were wondering if Disney was going to go there, they fucking went there. And then some. And I felt like a lot of those moments were done to kind of just prove to us, the audience, that, oh no, Disney is on board with a lot of this stuff that we're doing. And they went full on hard with a lot of the gore, a lot of the blood, a lot of the violence. Yeah, you had a lot of cursing in there, but they would poke fun at themselves and the Disney Corporation about how much they can say, how many times they can say a certain word, what they couldn't talk about. There's a running joke about cocaine and drugs, and how, oh, no, we can't talk about that. Disney doesn't like that. That's the one thing they said we couldn't do, but they would still do it in other ways, And they were very open and free to make fun of the Fox era, Fox Studios, Disney Studios, Marvel Studios. They made no one was safe. It was open range. They even made fun of DC. Because if you remember, Ryan Reynolds also had his stint in DC. He always made fun of his Green Lantern thing and all that, but they made fun of everything. I didn't even have a chance to write down of all the different jokes that they did, because there's just too many. Sometimes people will be laughing so hard at one thing that you would miss the following thing, right? There's a great one line that I love, the whole "suck it, Fox" that he does. And it's not like a big spoiler, but it was such a brilliant fourth wall breaking moment. It was just amazing. Let's see. Let me just go back quickly to the chats. Sorry if I missed anything. Sword saying, I want a Magneto chair so your ass can stay sitting and not buy anything. That's a good point. Starlord 7 burning my wallet like Negasonic Teenage Warhead. By the way, is she in the movie? Yeah, everyone that you know from the first Deadpool movies is there. With the exception of, and I'll just say this straight up so that at least expectations are out there. No Domino, no Bedlam, no Bill Skarsgård. They're not in the movie. Domino, I don't know why she wasn't in the movie. The others, give or take. I really, it doesn't really matter to me. But everyone else that you know that were main staples in the first two movies are in this movie. Marvel Jesus and X-Men Disciples. Dude, that is a good comic book name. Colossus is like Peter because he is like a rock. Hard like one too, I heard. Quick reminder again to everyone watching. Don't forget, hit that like button on the stream. Every like button you get, it gets Wolverine and Deadpool closer and closer to each other in real life. Also, don't forget, there is a poll in the chat right now. If you have seen Deadpool and Wolverine, let us know if you think this movie is the best MCU movie since Avengers Endgame. Let us know. Started saying, I've seen her in the trailer. Now I remember. Yeah, there you go. So, where was I? So, what else can I talk about without spoiling anything? Let's talk about the villains real quick. So, the one criticism I do have, and even though I do love the character of, Xavier's sister in this, and I don't think that's a spoiler to anybody. You've seen her in the trailers, and I think they've already made it kind of known in the trailers that's who that is. Let me just hold on. Let me just look this up real quick. Something here. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. So even though that is a very interesting character, and I like what she can do, overall she was kind of weak. The TVA guy that you saw in the trailers, the guy from Succession, he came across as a little too campy and corny, in my opinion. So the one thing that this movie does suffer from is a little bit of the weak villain problem that Marvel seems to have. Now, I don't know if we're ever going to see her, bald head, in a future movie in the universe moving forward. I don't know. The TVA is still very active and present here. So, obviously there is still potential that we're going to see those people in the future. But overall, I thought they were kind of weak, in my opinion, right? Most of the movie really truly focuses on Deadpool and Wolverine. This is like one of your buddy adventure movies, like road trip type of movies. It reminds me also very much of like 48 Hours and Another 48 Hours, because you have two people that can't stand each other, but they have to work together to accomplish something. I got a lot of those same vibes in this movie for me. Also, speaking of people who return, I do feel like we never got enough of the old gang together. We got glimpses of it here and there, especially in the beginning. But since they did so much and so much adventure work and so much other things and other people showing up, that I felt the lack of having these characters along for the ride throughout the whole movie. They do show up, and they do show up in very interesting moments of the movie, but I do feel like overall, I would have loved to see them more. Great soundtrack, awesome soundtrack, nice throwback songs from like 80s and 90s and 2000s. Very good balance of humor, drama, emotion, action, like I mentioned before, even though, like I said, at the end of the day, when you strip everything down, there are three main action sequences that are not necessary. If you took them out of the movie still would have flowed pretty well on its own. But those three action scenes were done just to please the viewer, please the fans. And it mostly happened with Deadpool and Wolverine. Did I say it feels a bit too long sometimes? Yeah, I did feel like there were moments where it did feel a little long. This is the longest Deadpool movie out of the three, but I do feel that this is the best Deadpool movie out of the three. I'll say that. And just like what I'm going to say, I'm going to mimic exactly, I'm going to mirror exactly what Karthik said earlier. The ending was not, I was not a really huge fan of the ending, honestly. It was a sweet ending and it was a meaningful ending, but it was an ending that really didn't matter in the overall course of the MCU. One of the biggest speculations that we had going into this was, and you heard this from a lot of people, me included, we all said, oh, this is going to garner in the next phase of the MCU. This is going to show us where the MCU is going to go from here. I will say this off the bat, it doesn't. Anything can still happen. This doesn't really show us a clear path of what the next phase will be. I don't think this even exists in any phase at all. This feels like a standalone movie, but in a very Deadpool way, he's a disruptor. He disrupts things within the universe, just like in the comic books. You know, you'll go years, issues, and all that without him showing up, and then he'll just show up and he'll disrupt things full on. That's what Deadpool does, and that's the charm of Deadpool. That's the humor behind Deadpool, right? So this was just like another disruptor moment. They made fun of the multiverse a lot, you know, because obviously that is like the biggest problem right now. And there was even a moment in the movie where he went on a long diatribe about the multiverses and how they're not working and blah, 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 this and that. So I thought that was hilarious. Again, they were not shy of poking fun at Marvel, at Disney, at Kevin Feige, at Fox, the whole deal with Fox. You know, they didn't shy away from any of that stuff. But when the movie ended, in a way, it made me feel a little confused and questioning a lot of things. And at the same time, it didn't feel like it made a perfect transition to whatever next phase we're going into, right? Or whatever Marvel's planning into. If anything, it just showed us that they are open to endless possibilities and acknowledging things that they've done in the past and reconciling. If anything, this movie was a great acknowledgement of everything that they've done in the past and acknowledging the faults, but also closing up on all the other stuff that came before the MCU. But at the same time, it also kind of tells you that anything is possible. And they are open to acknowledge if it makes sense and if the story rings true to want to do all that stuff. Started saying a fan of the Madonna. I'm glad they got her song. Yeah, I'm glad that they were able to convince her to use the song too. Like, I love reading the articles of how they met up with her and all that. Very heavily promoted, like you said. Final Trailer was the best. I never saw it, so, but you know, maybe I'll get a chance to watch it now that I've seen the movie. Yeah, so those are just my overall thoughts without spoiling anything. Final thoughts and review. It's a fun, entertaining movie. I greatly appreciate it. I loved every second of it. But at the same time, I am a comic book fan. I am a superhero movie fan. I've been watching Marvel films ever since they did the really crappy Captain America movie from, like, was it the 80s or 90s or something like that? The Dolph Lundgren Punisher. I remember watching Marvel movies way back then. This was an homage and love letter to fans like us who grew up watching all of these Marvel films. And it's not strictly just Fox. It's everything. And for that, I really appreciated it. When you, like I said, if you take out all the little cameos, all the little Easter eggs and all that, and you see what's left over, it's not a great film. It's not good. But because of everything, that's what made it a fun movie for me. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. I think this is the best Deadpool movie out of the 3. If I were to rank the Deadpool movies, it would be this, Deadpool 1, and then Deadpool 2. Those will be the rankings that I have for these movies. And I rewatched all the last 2 movies this week leading to this. And I will say this, those movies aren't great either. But because of Ryan Reynolds, because of the writing, because of the jokes, because of the references, the cameos, the little Easter eggs, that's what made those movies fun. You know, and if you're not into any of that stuff, then those movies will not be for you. This movie will never be for you. But for people like us, I mean, come on. This was a fantastic movie. I don't know how anyone who is like me, who are like a lot of you watching right now, and I'll get to the chats in a minute, who are fans of Marvel, who are fans of this genre, every one of you guys would get something out of this movie and would love it and appreciate it. But if you're not, if you're just casual and you're more of like a cinephile or a movie lover in that aspect, then this movie will not be for you. And that's why I see a lot of people online crapping on this movie, like taking huge dumps on this movie everywhere, saying that the fan service was not justified, not earned. What are you talking about? I totally disagree. I mean, you're open to your opinion, but for me, all these years watching these movies, a lot of the stuff that we saw was so well earned, in my opinion. You know, they knew what they were doing with this movie. They made this movie to speak to the fans and to please the fans, and kind of saying, hey, thanks for the ride. Thanks for joining us on this ride as we figured a lot of our stuff out. And we know some things worked and some didn't, but we're all one family now, you know? And this is our love letter to all of you guys. So brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. I really, really enjoyed it, you know? And again, if you've seen the movie, I would love to hear your thoughts on it before we get into more spoiler talk. All right. Arnold, what's up, man? Nice to see you here. Clone Wars for Life is in the house. What's going on? Ravi and Sorana. Always a pleasure seeing you. Life is indeed a mystery. Everyone must stand alone. Love that song. When Deadpool was talking about a blind girl, I think it might have been from Pretty Little Liars. Arnold, I just wanted to say hi. Very tired. Have to work tomorrow. Oh, man. Well, hang in there, man. I know your schedule, you're not used to it just yet, but I'm glad you were able to say hi, and I hope you can get some good rest for tomorrow. Let's see. Jester, did I see the Bob Dylan biopic trailer? I did. I avoided looking at all the other trailers that was playing because I'm still trying to do like a reaction video to them, but I couldn't help but look at the Bob Dylan one. Can we talk about Oscar Beatty a little bit? I think this is going to be a huge, highly talked about film when this comes out, and I think Timothée Chalamet looks actually pretty damn good. That's gonna be your typical Oscar bait movie, and I'm all in. I'm all for it. Without a doubt, the best DP2. Oh, you like Deadpool 2? All right. It's earned because the whole movie is invented as fan service. The movie shines with fan service. I agree, but I think a lot of people just don't realize that. You know, I think a lot of people just won't understand that these movies were done to just acknowledge the fan base and have fun with the fan base. You know, give us something that we've been wanting to see. You know, so it's just really, really, it's amazing. And then when people finally see this movie, it made me think of growing up. I remember watching a certain movie that I won't get, that will spoil things, in the theater opening weekend. I worked at Starbucks in Times Square. My friends met up with me after work, and we all went to the local theater to watch this movie because it was the first time that we said, wow, this is an interesting film, and it's based off of a Marvel comic, and we can't wait to see it, you know? And it reminded me of those days, and it was just amazing stuff that they did here. Clone Wars saying, he has a competition tomorrow. Month leave, so I won't be able to watch due to poor service. Just wanted to pop in and say hi. Hope your days. Thank you so much, Clone Wars. I really appreciate it all the time. Doing really well, man. And I hope you have. I wish you luck on your competition tomorrow. Where is it at? If you're still here, let us know where it's at. Jester, it's the most in tune Bob Dylan will ever be. Well, I will say this. Bob Dylan's way of singing, I think, will fit Timothy's way of singing better. Because the weakest thing about Wonka, and I loved Wonka, by the way, I thought Wonka was great, is that I felt a lot of his singing fell flat a little bit. So I do think that the Dylan movie will fit his type of voice better, in my opinion, overall. Clone Wars' competition is in Alabama. All right, well, have fun in Alabama there, Clone Wars. And again, wish you luck. I'm looking forward to hearing the results tomorrow. I mean, not tomorrow. Whenever I get to see you next time. That's what I meant. All right. Before we get into spoiler stuff, I'll leave the floor open to you guys. Let me know your other thoughts about the movie without spoiling things. At least for those of you who have seen it. And if you haven't seen it yet, if you have any questions about it that you would love me to answer, I will be more than happy to do so while I'm just checking my phone to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. Okay. Jester saying, I don't know. I prefer the Gene Wilder and Johnny Depp version. Well, that's fine. I have a feeling too. Well, I'll say this. Each one of those movies has something special in them. Gene Wilder, obviously, I grew up watching that movie. Funny story about that movie. I for the longest time, I've seen it, but I've never got past the part when they go through the tunnel, because my grade school, during assembly time, the movie that they chose every time, every year, was the Gene Wilder Wonka movie. And that was what? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, right? Is that the name of the movie? I always forget. Or is it Willy Wonka? And, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. And the assembly period would end at that moment. So I went through years and years of my childhood not finishing the whole movie until I was like an early teen, when I finally like decided just to sit down at home and watch the movie all the way through. And it's fun. It's a great movie. The Depp movie had its charms here and there. You know, it's very, very Tim Burton. And this was around the time when Tim Burton was going too much Tim Burton in a way. And, you know, Johnny Depp just had to be in all of his movies. So there were moments in it that I really liked. And then there were moments where I was just like, oh, wow, this is kind of weird. The Wonka movie in itself had a lot of great charm. I was going into that movie not expecting to like it at all. But then, just like eating one of his chocolates, I got into it. I found my feet tapping. I found me getting into the music. Like I said, the only weak point about the movie was Timothy's singing. I thought it was kind of flat and kind of weak at points. But overall, it was very entertaining. Starlord, the movie is a bucket of popcorn to drown Deadpool babies in. That's hilarious. That's really, really funny. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, I don't know why right now, but I'm getting a lot of messages. I do apologize. It's kind of rude. It's just I want to make sure that whatever I'm doing tonight is not interrupted at all. Also, outside of Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously, I would love to hear what you guys are planning for the weekend. Oh, I will say this too. I think for the first time this year, outside of, like, for example, I said that I watched Long Legs for the second time yesterday because I did that mainly because I wanted to take notes for a video that I'm planning to work on. But this is the first time that I felt a day after I watched a movie that I want to go out and watch it again. That's another reason why a movie like this is going to do so well this weekend. You're going to have tons and tons of repeat watchers, repeat viewers, people going to watch this movie twice, 3 times at the end of this weekend. They're going to be rewatching this movie for the next week, the next 2 weeks. And it's meant for that. It's really meant for that. You know, there's so much that happens that you could easily miss things so easy that when you watch it for the second time, you can catch so many different things. And I think it's just, it's a fun movie. It's 200 million. I think it's going to be 200 million at the end of the day, at the end of the weekend. Jester, before I have to leave, spoilers, how is Discord survey coming along? Still working on it. Still working on it. I don't have a I don't have like an estimate as to when it's done. Like I said, I have a lot of things happening behind the scenes right now. Just not to divulge too much, but to keep it short, I'm moving my mom somewhere, then moving myself to her place, and then getting this place ready to be sold. So, and that all needs to happen in the next 2 months, 2 to 3 months. So I have a lot of stuff happening. So, but it's going to be done, and I'll let all of you guys know when it's going to be done. I plan to be an X-Man and rule the world. Rule the world! Rule the world! You do your Beyonce. Stoller, I have to ask you. Would you be willing to watch this movie in the theater? I know you don't go, but would you think about it? Or are you just like, no, I'll wait? Again, to everybody who's watching live, I appreciate all of you watching. Even if you don't comment, that's perfectly fine. If you could just do us all a favor and hit that like button, that would be greatly appreciated. It will make everyone here watching very happy. Start saying if I had friends to go with. Aw. Does no one you know want to go watch it? What about your brother? I know you have a brother. You don't like soloing the theater? I do it all the time. I've been going to the movies alone since I was 8 years old. Even maybe before then too, because I remember sometimes my dad would drop me off at a theater, and then he had to work, so I would watch a movie. But then, because he was a taxi driver in New York, so he would do a shift, come back and pick me up when the movie was done. Or sometimes it'll be 2 movies a day like that. But I've been watching movies alone for a very long time, so I'm so used to it at this point that I don't even think about it. And I know for a lot of people, watching movies alone is hard. I get it. But for me, sometimes I actually prefer it, to be honest with you. But I mostly watch movies alone. Oh, you and your brother don't hang out? Oh, okay. Well, I'll say this. If you did have a chance to watch this movie in the theater, I have a feeling you would love it. Because I feel like this has every element in it that you would really love. And like you said, and like I was saying before, the fan service, in my opinion, was well earned in this movie. Well earned. So when I saw someone post on Twix yesterday, and I was just like, the visceral hate for this movie was just not even warranted, in my opinion. It was just so bizarre to see. And it was just, I don't know. Something must have been bothering this person, because it was pure hatred. And I don't think a movie like that, like this, deserves that type of hate. I'm trying to see if I could find it, because I was taken back by it. I really was taken back by it. Hold on. As I look through this, it's all good. I just don't go anywhere, to be honest. Okay, well, that's fine. I would go if I had an outdoorsy life. Okay, that sounds cool. Well, then I don't know. I haven't heard anything about expectations as to when this would be available digitally, or whatever. But I would highly suggest, if you can, the minute it is available to watch it digitally, that you go and do that, because it is something. It is something you definitely have to see for yourself. All right, let's see. I'm trying to find this. I should have saved it, but I guess a piece of me was just like, I don't like you right now for saying something like that. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, but like I said, the visceral hatred that was put out there for this movie really took me back. Really, really took me back. Star saying we'll see it eventually. Awesome. And I can't wait to hear your thoughts and opinions about it when you finally do. All right, let's see. If I don't find it in the next minute, I'm just gonna move on because I just really want to read this because it is, again, I found it to be so out of nowhere. Let's see. And I forgot the guy's name too, or else I would just look him up by his name. He's definitely also one of those chronically always on Twix. You know. And why is Ice Spice hanging out with Kai Cenat? Jeez, I have so much to say about Ice Spice, but I'm going to keep it to myself. So I'm a Marvel fanboy for crying out loud. Damn right, loud and proud. Do it. Ravi and Sorana saying play Fall Guys. I would, not today, but I would. That would be something I would do. I'm still planning a perfect day for a celebration stream where I play games with you guys to celebrate 10,000 subscribers. So I'm still planning which day would be best for that. All right, fuck it. I can't find it. Oh well. Yeah. Enough with the boring dead space, dead air streaming. I apologize, everybody. I really wanted to find that tweet because it was pure insanity. All right, who's ready? We're gonna do it. I apologize to those who have not seen this movie, and I completely 100% fully understand why you would have to leave at this moment, because we are now going to be talking about spoilers for Deadpool and Wolverine. If you don't want to hear any of this stuff, I ask that you maybe move on, bookmark this for later. But we are going to talk about spoiler stuff for Deadpool and Wolverine. So everyone now is free to say your full-on spoilers, comments, thoughts, feedback, opinion about this movie. Jester, what are we going to do for the 10,000 sub screen again? Well, we're going to play games together. We'll play some Jackbox. I'm thinking maybe some horror, murder mystery trivia. Maybe we could do some fun things. I would have to see what games you guys have so that we could all play together. And then we'll have like a fun stream. I'll probably stream for like 12 hours or something like that. Go nuts. So. All right, so I'm going to quickly mention some of my favorite moments from the movie. All right, and obviously this would be a lot of stuff that will spoil things for people. So, one of my favorite moments that they did in this movie that I was not expecting, and again, you're going to hear a common theme here: fan service, fan service, fan service. The moment Deadpool realized that he had to go find a new Wolverine, right? Jester has to bounce for now. Jester, have a wonderful rest of your day. Looking forward to catching you again. And then maybe next time we could have a more spoiler discussion, because I know you wanted to talk about some stuff. But the minute, because this is how it all plans out. This is how it works. Let's paint the picture real quick. All right. Deadpool lives in Earth something something, way outside of the main timeline that we are used to, the Avengers timeline, the MCU timeline. But if you remember at the end of Deadpool 2, he got Cable's time machine thing, right? So he was able to go back in time, save his girlfriend, right? Or his wife. Were they married? I don't think were they married? Yeah, they were married. Save his wife. Correct the whole Green Lantern situation, right? You know, you've seen the movie, you know. So what did he do? He used this device to go into Earth, was it 616 or whatever you call it? The main legacy timeline, or they called it the prime timeline, or they had a phrase for it. MJ2 Studios, that is also one of my favorite cameos. And I'll talk to that when I get to the cameos portion of this portion of the stream here. Starlord saying, in my Louisiana city, my movie theater is across the bayou, so it's pretty far across town. It's a beautiful area, though. Theater is on the side of the bayou. Wow, that sounds fascinating to me. If you ever get a chance to go there, take a picture, because I would love to see how that looks like. Or you could just tell me the name of the theater. I'm sure I could look it up on Google and all that. So, and I guess this falls into one of the best moments is you have Deadpool going into that timeline, the 616 timeline, or whatever you want to call it. Has a meeting with Happy Hogan to join the Avengers. And it's like a full-on job interview, which is hilarious. And here they poke fun about, you know, saying like, because Deadpool was expecting to talk to Tony Stark, right? And he's like, are you sure I should be talking to you? I feel like I should be talking to the main guy. And it's like, well, he's like, well, he's not available right now. And he's like, what, to make cameos? And I thought that was just so freaking hilarious. So funny about that stuff. But basically, at the end of the day, he got rejected. Right? He's like, Happy is like, I'll keep an eye out on you. We'll keep an eye out on you. But right now, your reasoning for wanting to join the Avengers is not why you should be an Avenger, right? Because he wants to do it because he feels he has to. He feels he has to fill a hole that's missing in his life. Because right now he has no meaning, no fit, no purpose. He broke up with his girlfriend, his wife, or whatever. Right? They're not together anymore. They had arguments about him not doing much importance in his life, even though he basically did something so great in Deadpool 2. He is now working as a car salesman, and he doesn't belong to any prestigious group. So he's looking for belonging. He's looking for a place to fit in, right? And that's what makes this story work so well with him and Wolverine. Because once he gets rejected, it's his birthday, they're having a birthday celebration, and the TVA show up, right? And the TVA capture him. TVA says they need his help because they want him to correct the main storyline that they're focusing on. But the reason why they can't is because the Wolverine of that timeline is dead, right? And he finds out that his timeline is vanishing because he's in the timeline of the Logan Wolverine, right? The Logan Wolverine that we all saw pass away in Logan, right? At the end of that movie and got buried and all that stuff like that. So, but they need a Wolverine to help out with a certain timeline. So he's like, okay, well, I'm just going to go to other timelines and find their Wolverine, right? And I'm being very short with this. There's a lot more explanations about the whole thing, but I'm being very short about this. So the minute I found out, I was like, oh, he's gonna go to other timelines to see Wolverines. What are we in store for? And oh my God, we saw basically all variations of Wolverine throughout the comic books. We saw comic book accurate height Wolverine, where he goes into this one universe, and it's Hugh Jackman, but he's 5 foot tall. which is supposed to be like the real height of Wolverine. So I thought that was really hilarious, right? He goes to another universe where it's the patch Wolverine, so he has the patch over his eye. We get what is it? Extinction Agenda Wolverine, where he's up on the cross like that, right? We got to see Age of Apocalypse Wolverine, where his hand is cut off and he's in that funky outfit. We got to see the classic old school Wolverine in the brown and yellow, and he's like, oh, I love this version of Wolverine. Don't you fight the Hulk in this one? And the Hulk shows up behind him. It was brilliant. It was just so much fun. It was so great. And it was again, if you're a fan of Wolverine all throughout the franchises, the iterations, the comic books, this had it all for you. All these variations and nice calls to Wolverine showing up. The best, however, hands down, and again, this is them speaking to the fans and playing service, Henry Cavill Wolverine. The minute he turned around and Wolverine's like, oh, it's Calverine. I was like, what? You got Henry Cavill as Wolverine? And oh my God, he looks fantastic as Wolverine, man. He is so bulked, and all that. We're never going to see Henry Cavill as Wolverine. But the fact that they had Henry Cavill as Wolverine in this movie was freaking brilliant, man. It was like the best thing. It got one of the biggest cheers from the crowd during that moment. It was so much fun. It really was a lot of fun. So that moment, it was like a nice little kind of montage moment of him going to all the different timelines and meeting up all the different Wolverines until he finally found a Wolverine that ends up, joining him on his journey. And again, what I said before, the reason why this team up worked so well is because you had two people who hit rock bottom. Wolverine is rock bottom right now. I mean, Deadpool is rock bottom right now. Girl is gone, right? Vanessa, is that her name? Played by the gorgeous Marina Baccarin, right? That's her name, right? Hold on. Yeah, Marina Baccarin as Vanessa. So she's gone. He has a bad, boring job. He's not affiliated with any team, and there's no excitement happening in his life right now. So he's at rock bottom. He's looking for a belonging. He's looking for a purpose. The Wolverine he meets up with, because of his failures of the X-Men and not helping the X-Men, there was an explanation there about him turning his back on what was happening to the X-Men because he got scared. Because of that, his timeline got pretty much ruined. So you have a Wolverine that's hit rock bottom. And now them together, working together to try to find purpose, belonging, meaning in their lives again. That's one of the reasons why this made it a great team up, in my opinion. A really amazing team up. Let's talk about the cameos. So I already mentioned one cameo. That was fantastic. The Henry Cavill as Wolverine was fantastic. They get into a moment where the TVA, they basically, Deadpool calls them out on doing something that they're not supposed to be doing. They're working not within the same orders as management in the TVA. This guy just is trying to accomplish his own agenda. So he doesn't like the fact that they're onto him. So he zaps them with the stick, and they end up in limbo, right? And if you've watched Loki, you know exactly what limbo is, right? So limbo, just think of it like a deserted wasteland, kind of Mad Max-like, which they poke a lot of fun at. A lot of Mad Max references during this time. And everything that is kind of forgotten is now in limbo. You see it in the trailer. Maybe it's not as clear, but there's a giant 20th Century Fox logo just buried in the sand because forgotten, right? It's gone. You see other things like an old school Thor helmet hanging out somewhere. One of the flashbacks or one of the multiverse sequences that he sees in the TVA is Deadpool dying and Thor is above him, basically trying to console him. He's like, "Oh, what's Thor doing to me? Oh, why is Thor crying over me?" And that becomes a running joke throughout the movie too. So Chris Hemsworth is in this movie technically because of Thor. But once they're there, this is where we get one of the unnecessary fights, because you have Wolverine that's pissed off that he's now stuck in limbo. Wolverine, who's like is still trying to figure things out, and they get on each other's nerves that they have their first fight. Again, not necessary, didn't need to be in there, but as a fan of the two and who've been wanting to see this forever, he even says it when they're about to start. He looks into the camera, he looks directly at us and says, like, strap in, y'all. This is the fight you've all been waiting for. And then they go toe to toe together, right? So as they're doing all that, they see like there's these like kind of people who rule the limbo world. And that's where we get a lot of the rejected X-Men people, X-Men villains, I should say. Just like in the trailer, that's where we get Sabretooth. We see Toad is there. We see Ezekiel, the red Nightcrawler, right? We get that, you know. We see Lady Deathstrike in the background, but she never is full front in view. We see the Juggernaut is part of that grouping there, right? And they're told that, you know, there's two people that rule Limbo. You have Professor X's Cassandra Nova, the sister, the twin sister, or this big being that likes to just eat up everything that goes through the landscape and all, right? So they're like trying to figure out, like, well, can we trust these guys? I don't know. It looks like we're going to fight them. And then all of a sudden a person shows up, right? And he's like, blah, blah, blah. You guys are bad. You know, this is, you know, you don't belong here. Blah, all this stuff like that. And you guys need to get out of here. And he like puts his arm out and you see the sleeve and you're like, oh, is this Captain America? Is this Steve Rogers? Are we going to see Chris Evans? And Deadpool is like me right now. He's getting so super excited. He's like, oh my God, oh my God. He does the superhero landing because he jumps down and then he takes off the hood. And yes, it's Chris Evans. Beard and everything, you know? And he's like, this is where it ends right now. You know, talking to like the bad guys. And Deadpool's like, oh my God, he's going to say Avengers Assemble. And what does he do? He takes off the robe or whatever this thing, the poncho that he's wearing. Flame on! Boom! It's fucking Johnny Storm! Human Torch Chris Evans. And I was like, what? You gotta be kidding me. So I love how they threw you for a loop, expecting one thing, and totally surprised you with something else. And here we have full-on Chris Evans Human Torch in the movie. MJ2 Studios saying, and this is MJ2 Studios, their favorite cameo, Chris Evans popping up. And I agree, it is probably one of the best cameos in this movie. Do I think there's going to be a fourth Deadpool movie? There might be. My whole feeling about Deadpool is that I don't think we will see Deadpool in main proper MCU. I don't think we would see him pop up in an Avengers movie, nor would I want him to. Deadpool is a disruptor. He disrupts things. So I could see them doing movies and maybe having him in cameos for other things, but he will never be in like Avengers 5 or like Avengers 6. I don't think so. He will definitely have his own movie that will probably parody everything that's currently happening within the current phase of the MCU or something like that. He may show up in Secret Wars if they do that, and that would make more sense if they do that. So I could see something like that happening. But with the amount of money that this movie, I was about to say with the amount of movie this money is going to make, with the amount of money that this movie is going to pull in, it would baffle me for them to not consider doing another Deadpool movie. So I won't be surprised. So yeah, so we have Chris Evans as the Human Torch show up, right? And ultimately they get captured. And they get to the base, and we've seen the base, the giant Ant-Man. Deadpool does this funny joke of like, oh, look, Paul Rudd looks like he finally aged, which I thought was like really hilarious. They meet Cassandra Nova there. Cassandra Nova mentions that there are other people out in the Badlands of this place. You're not a part of them, are you? But we come to find out that Human Torch is, and Human Torch is blah, blah, blah. Deadpool does this thing where he's like, man, you don't want to know what he said about you. He said, and he went in this full-on diatribe about everything that Human Torch said about Cassandra Nova. And Human Torch, Johnny, he's like, I didn't say all that. No, don't listen to him. I didn't say any of that stuff. And she's like, oh yeah? Basically skins him alive in front of everybody, and he dude's dead. They didn't show him pass out, but dude's dead. Come on. No skin. Skins him alive, right? Which was like so brutal to see. And I forget at this moment, again, so much is happening during here, but they find a way to escape. And now their mission, their journey is to find these other people to help them find a way to escape limbo. They want to get back to the TVA to figure that stuff out, and ultimately to save Deadpool's timeline, because he's doing so because he doesn't want to lose his friends. He doesn't want to lose Vanessa, but the timeline itself is disintegrating. So he needs Wolverine to help out with that, because there's a device that the guy at the TVA is putting together that is called like a time ripper or multiverse ripper that's supposed to destroy existing timelines. And in order to defeat that machine, they need people that can kind of withstand the power of the timeline, and probably have to end up sacrificing themselves, right, to kind of destroy this machine. Think of it like Guardians of the Galaxy 1, where you're dealing with I forgot which stone it is. Is it the Reality Stone or the Purple Stone? I forgot which one that was. And if you remember, when he needed the entire Guardians of the Galaxy to help hold the stone and to be strong enough to kind of withstand the power, that's basically what happens at the end of this movie, and I'll get to that in a moment. So as they're going out and they're trying to find these other people to help out. They hop in a car, and again, we get another unnecessary fight scene where it's a fight that basically lasts 24 hours between Wolverine and Deadpool. And it takes place all inside of this damn car. And it's just crazy. It's just a crazy fight, so bloody, so gory. Remember, they both have regeneration powers. So it's a battle that will never end. And it's so crazy to see. Again, not necessary for the movie, but it was really fun as a fan to watch it. MJ2 Studios forgot to mention tips made up $3,000. Tips are going to be giving to charity. Oh, that's awesome. Big bravo. Big bravo to that theater that you went to. Now Studios has to go. All right, I'll catch you next time. Again, thank you for coming back. Really, really appreciate it. Star-Lord saying Deadpool is a universe of his own. Deadpool is Marvel Jesus, not the actual Jesus in reality, so he can't be in a normal universe. Well, I will say one of the things I will say about this is that you could see that Deadpool does suffer from like a Jesus complex, right? And that is to his detriment. And I think that's one of the reasons why things haven't been working out for him, as we see that happen in this movie. He feels he is the center of the universe, of attention, but he learns slowly that he's not, and now he's trying to deal with that, accept that, and correct all of those things because of it. Again, there's a lot of like deep, hidden kind of revelations Deadpool goes through here, and Wolverine too, in a way. So that's why there's a lot of stuff here to enjoy, not just the big cameos and the big action scenes and all that. There are hidden things in there that are very meaningful for the characters. And like I say every time, the minute you feel very attached and close to the characters, you care more about what happens to them, what they go through and all that. And they do that very well here, and especially knowing that this is not our Wolverine that we know. Still, it made you want to root for him and want to like love him and things like that, despite him and his problems that he did and all that. So when they were done with this fight, the car gets hijacked and they get brought to a base, right? And this is where we get the full-on big cameo reveal of the movie. Cameos reveal of the movie. Because one by one, these people who are now these are the outsiders, the people who live in the outskirts of the borderlands or whatever like that. These are the people that Deadpool and Wolverine needed to find. In walking in, you don't see it right away, but all of a sudden you see Jennifer Garner, Elektra. What? And she looks fucking fantastic in her outfit and all that. Following up behind her, fucking Wesley Snipes, Blade, son. And he too looks so good. Unbelievably fantastic. Oh my God. Biggest cheer. Cheer number 2. Second biggest cheer. Freaking Wesley Snipes, Blade walks in. And Deadpool's like, oh my God, I thought you were a myth. I thought you never existed anymore. And then behind him afterwards, in full-on comic book accuracy outfit, Channing Tatum's Gambit. What? And he ended up becoming a butt of so many jokes because not only does he look ridiculous, but he tries to speak in a Louisiana French accent. Star-Lord, you would appreciate this. It sounded awful and you couldn't understand it. And Deadpool would joke about it the whole time. He'd be like, I'm sorry, can you say that again? Are you speaking English? Is anyone understanding what he says? It is just hilarious because it looks so cheesy. It's like they tried to be so comic book accurate with his costume. It just didn't translate well on screen. But it was purposely done. You could tell it was so purposely done. And it was so brilliant. And then to round out the team there, we get Dafne Keen's X-23. And this is why I complained about revealing her in the trailer. Because when she popped up, no one cheered. No one was excited because everyone was expecting her to show up already at this point. And that's one of the things I wish they still kept secret. Because that would have just rounded out the whole thing brilliantly. It would have been a brilliant roundup of it all. You know? So you have a team of Elektra, Jennifer Garner, Wesley Snipes' Blade, Channing Tatum's Gambit, and X-23. From all the different universes. From all the different Marvel movies. It's so good. And the Marvel movies that were never came to be, which is another joke that they played on with his character in this. It was amazing. So yeah, so Deadpool and Wolverine had to team up with these guys. That's when they find out that Chris Evans's Human Torch was part of their team. So and they make a lot of references to Punisher. That's why they have so much weapons with them, because every weapon that they had was left over by the Punisher, who died, you know, trying to go up against Cassandra Nova. And even Deadpool's like, well, which Punisher? There's so many of them. You know, it's just so funny. The only thing that they didn't really reference, were Sony Marvel characters. Yes, you do get a small snippet of when they're driving to find these people, and Wolverine and Deadpool are having like a back and forth, and he basically tells the Deadpool to shut up. So Deadpool's just sitting there and he's trying to do like the spider web thing, but he doesn't mention Spider-Man. He's just trying to like do this, right? So no mention of Spider-Man and no mention of Ghost Rider, which is kind of a shame. I wish there was a way that they could have like weaseled in a Ghost Rider mention in there, because that would have been a lot of fun. But none of the Sony Marvel characters were mentioned at all. It was Fox. It was New Line Cinema with Blade, you know. But it was so good. It was so good. And the great thing that they did during the ending credits of the movie is they showed a ton of behind the scenes footage of filming of all of those movies. You saw behind the scenes footage of Blade, especially Blade 3, because Ryan Reynolds was in it. So you see a very young Ryan Reynolds sitting down talking about, playing Wade Wilson in Blade 3. And he said, I really like this character. I hope one day I could do my own movie with him. This was like, what year was this? 2001 or something like that? 1999? I forget which year Blade 3 came out. So you had behind the scenes footage of that happening, all the behind the scenes footage of the Bryan Singer X-Men movies, even the new First Class movies, right? And then you had like behind the scenes of the Fantastic Four movies. So you had, again, Marvel acknowledging that all of these are part of their family now. And that's why, like I said, this is a love letter and homage to us fans who endured watching all of these movies. And it's just so good. And the great thing about these characters, with the exception of, Human Torch, who caught the business, Elektra, Blade, Gambit, they didn't die. They're still in limbo, but they never died. So, again, like I said, anything is possible in the MCU moving forward. Anything is possible at this point. I mentioned the Happy Hogan Avengers interview. I mentioned before that they didn't shy away from all the violence. Again, I felt like a lot of these action scenes were so over the top, gory. I felt like that was done purposely to kind of say, see, Disney is on board with all of this stuff. This is what we can get away with. So again, a lot of great stuff like that. Again, a lot of great back and forth and not holding back on criticizing a lot of the missteps of Fox, Disney, Marvel, the Fox merger, all those things. It's just so much fun. And again, there's so many jokes and so many one-liners that I missed or I couldn't write down because it was endless. It was just an endless barrage. There wasn't any really that dull moment, with the exception of some like really poignant scenes. Like there was a great moment where the Wolverine is sitting down with X-23 and they have like a very heart-to-heart conversation, and she's like, you remind me a lot of him. I know you're not him and all that. And he's like, I'm never going to be that guy that you looked up to. I'm just not the right guy. And, she says this in the trailer too. And she's like, yeah, neither was he until he was, and it was just such a great moment, back and forth moment. I'm trying to think what else. So a reference to Doctor Strange, because that's how they were able to get the portal to get through. Also, I should mention Pyro was also part of the group, and Pyro at one point tried to backstab Cassandra because he was tired of being kind of like her lapdog, which he basically was. Which was interesting. So, they finally get back to the proper timeline that they're supposed to be at. And as they're about to approach the big device that they're supposed to take down, that's when we see another portal open up, and then we get a slew of freaking Deadpool variants. So all you comic book fans out there who love Deadpool, I never read a lot of Deadpool comics, but every iteration of Deadpool that you may like or know about showed up. All of them. Lady Pool, Baby Pool, Head Pool, Samurai Pool, whatever. All of these pools. It was a pool fest. And they had a giant battle with all of these guys. Mega battle. They do like this faux one shot as you see Wolverine and Deadpool going through the battle, fighting each pool. And this was right before the fight started. Another great big fanboy moment is when Wolverine finally puts on the hood and you see him full on mask and everything, whited out eyes, and Deadpool looks at him like, oh, you waited until now to do this? He's like, I only do this when it's a major fight. And I will say this too. This version of Wolverine is the most Wolverine we have ever gotten. This is Hugh Jackman being Wolverine times 50, times 100. Every little thing that Wolverine does that we've seen in comics and in the movies and in video games, he did here. The poses, jumping, some of the fight moves he does. This is the most Wolverine we've ever gotten in live action. And Hugh Jackman, it was amazing seeing Hugh Jackman at the end of it all. It was so good to see him reprise this role. And there's even a joke that Deadpool makes to him. It's like, ha, you know, Marvel's going to keep you on for 90 years. Like, you're never escaping. And that came into fruition in a way because when they finally destroy the device, again, they do their Guardians of the Galaxy thing where they have to kind of merge these two conduits together and break them. You know, Deadpool couldn't do it alone. He was trying to sacrifice himself. It was Wolverine who offered to do it, but then Wolverine was able to bust in there and help him out. So they're holding hand in hand, doing these things. Very Guardians of the Galaxy like. His shirt gets ripped off, and even you see Deadpool like even looking at his pecs and all that. It's just like, oh, you know, while this whole thing is happening. And you know, they destroyed. Cassandra Nova's defeated. You know, TVA guys brought back for, you know, interrogation at the TVA headquarters, blah, 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 this and that. The Deadpool fight finally ended because Peter showed up. And all the Deadpools in all their universes has a Peter. And everyone loves Peter. So when Peter showed up in his very unfitting Deadpool uniform, he's like, hey guys, let's not fight. We're all here together. And everyone's like, wait a minute. Peter? Oh my God, we love Peter. Like that. And Peter was the one who brought peace to everything, which was the best thing ever. It was really, really funny. So when all that was said and done, Wolverine, Deadpool, they survived, right? And yes, Star-Lord, Wolverine totally berserker raged in this movie. Big time. Big time. It was amazing to see. They do a nice callback to the first Avengers movie. It's like, hey, you want some shawarma? Yeah, let's go. I can eat something, which was like great and all, right? So they're there, and then they said, did you know that it's the Avengers that put shawarma on the map? It's just so funny. Again, the dialogue is just so brilliant. But here's the thing. Now, if you recall, Deadpool went to the main Avengers timeline, the 6161 timeline, whatever. That's all the Marvel stuff that we're used to. Avengers, Iron Man, all those things. Deadpool lives in another universe where we had a lot of the Fox stuff, right? That's where his friends, family are. So he goes back because he was able to save his timeline. Everyone's alive. But who's there with him? Hugh Jackman Wolverine. They're all sitting together, having dinner, having a party, right? Of course, Peter's there. Dopinder is there. Blind Al, Yukio, Negasonic. Buck is there. Colossus is there. And who else did they bring with them? X-23. So now you have Dafne Keen's X-23, the new Wolverine now, right? And Deadpool in one universe. That's not the main universe. Not at all. So that's why I kind of question, how is Deadpool going to be fitting really in the Marvel universe, in the main MCU timeline, right? So are they going to be using his universe as kind of like an Elseworlds thing? I read a report recently they're saying that the Matt Reeves Batman movies and TV shows and all that is going to be living in its own Batman universe. You know? Because, again, if we're trying to get away from the whole multiverse stuff, they didn't really close it out here because it's still very possible to jump from universe to universe. So they didn't close all that out. And they didn't really usher in a new phase of the MCU. Like I said, if anything, they just told us and showed us that anything's possible, right? We're not afraid to bring things up from the past. We're not afraid to bring things up that never even saw the light of day, but was like heavily rumored or heavily worked on. You know, they all exist in this pocket. But how is this pocket going to be talking to this major pocket? And if they do, maybe that Secret Wars would be the one to do that. Because Secret Wars is supposed to be like the end-all multiverse kind of full-on extravaganza, right? You know, so we'll see. Who knows? You know, if the Russo brothers finally agree to sign up to direct, you know, the next Avengers movie and potentially Secret Wars, maybe they'll come up with something. Who knows? But as of right now, even though for me it was a satisfying end for the Deadpool universe, it's an ending that didn't make sense for the overall MCU. And maybe that's done on purpose, right? So yeah, so I thought that was very, very interesting there. And at the end, it was a very heartfelt ending. You know, he told Vanessa that he did all of this stuff for her. You know, and they kind of hold hands very briefly. And it was like a nice, you know, like one of those like very typical fun, friendly ending where you just have all the friends and family together sitting down, laughing and enjoying the company, right? And then you fade to black and then credits roll. And then we get the blooper reels of all the different movies throughout the Marvel movie universe and everything. And then at the end of all that, we do get one post-credit scene. And the post-credit scene is Deadpool in the TVA headquarters and saying, look, I want to prove myself. I don't want to be called a liar. And he pulls up video of when they're captured and being transported in limbo to meet Cassandra Nova. And it's Deadpool and Wolverine tied up together and Chris Evans' Human Torch sitting there. And this was the moment where he's explaining who Cassandra Nova is. And you could tell like he doesn't really have good things to say about her. So Deadpool is encouraging him to say, go on, tell us more about her. And that's where we get to see Chris Evans going on his diatribe of his feelings and thoughts on Cassandra Nova that Deadpool told her, he said, but he was denying. So after all that, and after we see the whole diatribe that Chris Evans had, Deadpool shuts it off. It's like, see, I told you I wasn't lying. Blah, 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 this and that. And I thought that was really cute. It was very funny. So yeah, so again, it was a post-credit scene that, again, didn't really matter. It didn't progress or move things forward anywhere. It wasn't a tease where all of a sudden you just see Deadpool hanging out with like Thor or hanging out with like, who's that? Sam Wilson's Captain America. It wasn't an ending like that. It's all self-contained within this Deadpool universe. So yeah, take that as you wish. It may piss off some people, it may confuse some people, but I like if you were just to think of it as a closure to this whole Fox Deadpool universe, right? Because that's what essentially they're doing in this movie. They tried to do as much of closing up loose ends from the Fox universe, from previous universes, you know, and say, this is where we see everything. Yes, Blade still exists, but he's in limbo right now. Wesley Snipes had a great line. He's like, I am Blade. There will be no other Blade other than me. I am the Blade. And Deadpool kind of looks at the camera at us like that, which I thought was very funny. But his Blade exists in limbo. Elektra still exists in limbo. Channing Tatum's Gambit is there. X-23 is now in the Deadpool universe with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. So could we potentially get more Hugh Jackman Wolverine in the future? Who knows? Maybe. I don't think it's necessary. I don't want people to think that this is going to be our Wolverine moving forward. Doesn't have to be. And it can't be. There's no way Hugh Jackman can continuously perform in this way because of the amount of stress that he puts on his body for working out and all that stuff. Will he pop up from time to time? Hopefully. But it's not necessary. But at least we know he exists somewhere. He's not wiped out. He's not dead. He's there, right? By the way, there was a great moment in the beginning of the movie where Deadpool is digging out the grave that we saw in Logan, hoping that he could still resurrect that Wolverine that exists in his timeline, and it's just an adamantium skeleton that he ends up using as weapons to fight the TVA in the opening credits scene. Very funny stuff. But yeah, those were just some of the moments I needed to highlight that were my favorites, and that can really show you what this movie is about at the end of the day. And look, it was a blast. It's a fun ride. I honestly cannot wait to see this movie again. It deserves a second watch, maybe even a third. It's just so much fun. And if you're looking for that fun ride, then this is definitely going to be a movie that will work for you. Yeah. So that's it. That's my full-on spoiler stuff of Deadpool and Wolverine. So I'm going to close that out. So yeah. So I'm sure we're going to be hearing more about it in the next coming weeks. I can't wait to review what the box office is going to do this weekend, because if we look at it now, just Thursday alone, Deadpool and Wolverine already made $38.5 million for a Thursday, which is the highest. It broke a lot of records. So here, I'm on the Hollywood Reporter here. Box office. Deadpool and Wolverine reaps record $38.5 million in previews. Best ever for an R-rated film and more. So gross a record-shattering $38.5 million in Thursday previews, beginning by far the best showing ever for an R-rated film, and putting it at number 8 on the list of top previews amongst all films, not adjusted for inflation. It joins an elite roster that includes installments in Hollywood's biggest franchises, including Avengers, Star Wars, Spider-Man, and the final Harry Potter film. Amazing. Also overseas, pulling big numbers, earning $64.8 million in the first 2 days, 57% ahead of the first film and 48% of the sequel. Unreal. Unreal. Let's look at those. Let's look at the worldwide numbers. Look at that. Look, this is, you have to understand why this is crazy and why this is going to be bananas. Because internationally, this movie came out maybe on the 24th. So just 2 days ago, right? But internationally, it made $64.8 million in just 2 days. So we're at $103.3 million worldwide already. And it's only Friday today. We still have today's numbers, Saturday's numbers, and Sunday's numbers to tally all up. This movie is going to be bananas. I'm saying it right now. Domestically, 200 million plus. 200 million plus domestically. Internationally, at this point, hard for me to say. But it is possible that we could see 350 to maybe 400 million worldwide after the weekend. Crazy, crazy stuff. And I'm all for it. And I think what will help boost these numbers is repeat viewing. I think a lot of people are going to go back and watch this movie again. I can't wait to see it again. Will I be able to see it this weekend? Probably not. But maybe I'll find time sometime next week to do so. For sure. So yeah. So crazy, crazy stuff, man. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Stoller saying spoilers don't bother me. They're more like future references to what I will see later. I'm forgetful anyways. Well, I'm glad you don't mind the spoilers because obviously I couldn't do this stream justice if I just couldn't talk about all the little stuff that happens. Because there's just so much to talk about and so much to just fanboy and geek out on. Really. What's up, Star-Lord? Ask away. While Star-Lord asks his question, also to note, because it is San Diego Comic-Con this week, it officially had its full day yesterday, and people who had a chance to go to the Deadpool and Wolverine panel, Hall H panel that Marvel had, were treated to a full screening of the movie, which is something I kind of knew was going to happen the minute I saw that. The minute I saw that they were going to have like a panel on its own, I thought, I bet you they're going to screen the movie for those people who made it. Because I also found out that in order to attend that panel in particular, you had to win a lottery. So I'm not surprised that that's the case there. Also, just another reminder for anyone watching live, don't forget, hit that like button. Would greatly, greatly appreciate it. I appreciate all of you, honestly. And then after the panel, they had this amazing... Hold on, I'm trying to pull it up here. I have to show this because this is so amazing. They did a drone show above the convention center. And I've never seen a drone show this fantastic before. Let's see. I'm going to try to share the screen here. Look at that. Oh, I'm gonna mute the music because it's probably copyrighted. Look at all that. That, like, and the head's moving too. Wolverine with a snicked. That looks amazing. Deadpool and Wolverine running. I mean, the things that you could do with drones now is so crazy. This just looks so brilliant. Then they have the necklaces that are that team up together. How good is that? Then they have the Marvel Studios logo, Deadpool and Wolverine. I mean, that's just so amazing. I wish I was there to see that, because that would have been fantastic to see. And then separately, they had another drone show that freaking had Galactus show up. As if, you know, getting everyone ready for the Fantastic Four movie. Look at this. Look at that. I couldn't even fathom to imagine how many drones they used for this. But you had Galactus, the devourer of worlds, the eater of planets, peering over the convention centers there. I mean, that is amazing. How good is that? That is so good. I've never had a chance to go to San Diego Comic-Con, but I really wish. I really wish I could. It's so hard to get there. Whoa, what is that? Oh, a Fantastic Four, yeah! How did they do that? That means they had drones with pyrotechnics on it? Wow. So cool. That is one of the, oh man, that is like one of the best things I've seen. Unreal. Unreal. That's so good. Isn't that so good? Again, getting people hyped for Fantastic Four. I know Pedro Pascal released a kind of like a cast shot of him and his fellow cast members as they're gearing up for their filming of Fantastic Four. So that's awesome. So awesome. Star-Lord, are you hailed as the king of ET sitting on the throne of low-key ET? Have you phoned home on the ET throne? Oh my god, you're silly. What's low-key ET? What is that? Is that a new character I should create? Low-key ET? Hold on, give me 1 second, guys. Oh, Octocruel. No, I didn't watch it yet. I haven't had time the last couple of days, honestly. But I still have it written down, Star-Lord. I don't want you to think like I'm ignoring you with your recommendations. I just, honestly, the last couple of days have been crazy for me, so. Give me a second, guys. I'm just looking at some headlines here. Looks like currently there's a Rings of Power panel happening at All Hall H. So a lot of people are kind of tweeting about that. I guess Amazon is really pushing that strong at San Diego Comic-Con. Also, I guess the director of that new Hellboy movie coming out, which no one knew about, says that Mike Mignola was the one who wrote the first draft of that script. If you don't know, Mike Mignola is the creator of Hellboy, who wrote all the Hellboy comics and graphic novels. So that's kind of interesting to hear. I still have not, to this day, watched that trailer. I had a lot of friends telling me that it looked awful. Oh, so it looks like Hellboy had their panel at San Diego today, too. So that's why there's a lot of headlines about it right now. I think Monday will end up becoming a very long stream because I think that would be like a perfect time to kind of just go over all the news and everything that was kind of mentioned and released for San Diego Comic-Con. Okay. Again, I just wanted to catch up on anything. Just yeah, you never know. Sometimes something drops, and that could be worth talking about. So yeah, there is one thing I did want to. That's very Deadpool and Wolverine related, and I guess Kevin Feige has been making the rounds a lot online, and he's doing a lot of interviews, right? That's why there's a lot of like news bits here and there about him and his thoughts on the MCU, the Blade movie, whoever they decide to play Wolverine in the future, blah blah blah. And there was one article that said that kind of gives detail about Kevin Feige on spoiling X-23 early. And now I didn't read this yet, and then like again, my problem with that. I think it was a bad move. They shouldn't have done it. So I definitely want to read this explanation that he has to give on that. Starlord saying, I'm only asking you because, first off, it's a nice running joke. Second, I really think you will enjoy the watch along. These guys are watching for the first time things we grew up watching. It's funny and interesting at the same time. Feels like watching in a whole new way the first time. All right. Look, I believe you, but, again, I'm always very skeptical when it comes to YouTube stuff because you never know. Everyone has their tastes. Everyone is, and when everyone has their taste, people are subjective with their taste, right? Which is perfectly fine. I've had people recommend me stuff on YouTube before, and I just didn't like it, or it didn't gel with me, right? But I made you this promise, even though you don't want to do our bet. That's fine. I see how this goes. I see how it goes. You do. You want to suggest something to me, but the minute I suggest something to you, you're like, no. So, like I said, I have it written down right here. See, I said here, Octocool, E.T. I have it written down right here. So, the moment I have a free chance, I will check it out, and then I'll let you know when I do, so that we could have a conversation about it, and then we could kind of have that conversation about were you right, were you wrong? We'll see. All right, let's check out this article. Kevin Feige explaining why they spoiled X-23 early. Because, again, this was a major problem I had with the trailers and the marketing. One of the biggest draw cards of Marvel Studios' Deadpool and Wolverine is that it has a chock full of cameos with multiple characters either returning or being part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Some of those were spoiled early in the promotional material, such as Sabretooth and Toad, but others were under wraps. Then in a final trailer for the film, just 1 week before its release, Marvel surprisingly revealed the return of Dafne Keen's X-23 from Logan. Why did they give that away? It was all to do with the premiere. Marvel chief Kevin Feige tells Variety it was in part due to Dafne Keen's desire to attend the film's premiere on Monday night in New York City. He says Dafne really wanted to go to the premiere, and we said, well, she really can't come to the premiere because it would be a spoiler. We hadn't shown it yet. Surprisingly, Disney was on board and wanted to tease the appearance, as well as it offered an emotional core of the movie to get people to go. He adds the Disney marketers now exactly when to push a little forward and pull a little back. The comments come as Deadpool Wolverine director Sean Levy told THR that he foresees more collaborations between Marvel and me, as he was arguably more creatively empowered and trusted on this movie than just about any other I've ever made. Which is along the lines of what I said. When you watch this movie, you can tell and you get that sense of feeling that they allowed him to do whatever he wanted to do. All the jokes that they made against Marvel and Disney and Fox, even DC, they didn't pull any punches at all. Which is interesting. Now, this whole thing about Dafne Keen wanting to attend the premiere, why couldn't they just sneak her in? She didn't have to walk the red carpet, and that's one of the reasons why I kind of avoided the premiere. It's here in New York. I probably would have had a small chance to check it out, right? They had it at Lincoln Center where New York Film Festival happens. I probably could have tried to go there myself and see what happens, right? But I didn't want to because whoever walked on the red carpet might end up becoming a spoiler for the film. And lo and behold, Dafne Keen was there. But if she wanted to attend the premiere, why couldn't they just sneak her, from the back door? Or why couldn't they just sneak her in there? She didn't have to walk the red carpet. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of that's kind of a BS explanation if you ask me. But it is what it is. What's going on, Brittany? Hope you're doing well. Ados! What's going on, Ados? It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great week. Are you planning on watching Deadpool and Wolverine? Because that is what we're talking about today. So, Stars, I honestly think at first it won't gel, but it will grow on you. Oh, that's what I tell people that I date. That you may not like me now, but I'd grow on you. And, well, grow on you.
I'm gonna come.
Just saying. If I'm turned on, I will grow on you, for you. Not gonna lie. So it's also really fast. It's like 30 minutes, edited movie reaction, but it's fun. All right. Say no more. I will check it out the first chance I can. Let us quickly check in on the poll right now. In the horizontal poll, again, the question is Deadpool and Wolverine the best MCU movie since Avengers Endgame? 71% says yes, 29% says no. On the vertical stream, 67% says yes, 33% says no. A little bit tighter, a little bit closer, but still, I feel like people are feeling the same way I'm feeling. Now, I'm not saying it's better than Endgame. That's not the question here. I said Endgame was probably the last great Marvel movie that we got. MCU Marvel movie. We got some that were good, decent, but is this the next best one since Endgame? So, I think it is. Ados, thanks. It's all very nice. I hope the same with you and your family. Oh, thank you, Ados. That's very kind of you. I always appreciate you joining the streams and saying hi. Ados, in Brazil, is there a lot of hype? Is there a lot of excitement for Deadpool and Wolverine? I'm just curious. Won't take too much of your time at all, actually. You have a good poker face. You lie. Wow! Me? Good poker face?
Wow. Wow.
Nah. I'm okay. I'm okay. Wow, all of a sudden I just felt very hungry. Have you guys ever got that? Have you guys ever gotten like where you're just sitting down, not thinking about, and then all of a sudden you're just like, damn, I need food. Run it back. I saw your lying smile. No, 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 no lying smile here. No lying smile. Is anyone else also excited for the Olympics? I know I asked that before, but I don't know. There's just something about me that's like super excited for the Olympics that it's starting. Uh-oh, I have just woken the Night Rider.
Yeah! You blew it!
Dun 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 bum bum bum. All right, I don't want to get copyright stricken because you know my renditions are so accurate. Do us all a favor, everyone watching live right now, hit that like button and hit that heart if you either watched or are planning to watch Deadpool and Wolverine this weekend. Let us know. Sound off. React. Hit the like. Would greatly, greatly appreciate it, everybody. All of you are fantastic human beings. as I take a sip of my drink from my Deadpool cup. Oops, I spilled. I spilled on myself.
I'm gonna come.
And here's that ASMR I promised everybody. Oh, I'm nuts right about now. Ados, yes, Brazilians like it. Theaters are always full of MCU movies. I think this movie will be good. It will be a way for them to merge the two worlds. I think that what this movie is about. I will say this, you are not wrong. It is, without spoiling anything, because we're done with spoilers for now. It's a movie that acknowledges and blends the Fox universe, all that stuff, right? And kind of says we're all one family now. And it's a nice love letter to us who watched all of these Marvel movies during and before the whole MCU. And it is a fun movie. It's very enjoyable. But if you're not into that, if you don't have like fond memories of watching, the old X-Men movies from 2000, movies that came out around that time, then you would probably think that this movie is trash. Sounds like sexual popcorn in Wolverine's mouth. That was what I was trying to go for. Then you and him had a Deadpool baby. That's right. That's right. Deadpool baby is my child. My beloved child. You guys have been amazing today. I just checked really quick the streaming stats, and the vertical stream as of now. Wait, hold on. Or as of, I don't know, over 1,400 views. Thank you so much, everybody. You guys are amazing. Amazing. And got a decent amount of subscribers as well. So very, very happy. I'd say it will be good. Absolutely. Again, I cannot wait to talk about box office numbers on Monday when this all happens. When it's all tallied up, it's going to be bonkers. It really is. Then on top of that, Marvel's presentation is Saturday night. Oh, so much to talk about on Monday. So I can't wait to talk about all of this stuff on Monday with all of you. Again, 3 p.m. Eastern time, we'll be live on Monday. That's the next time I will be live on stream. Oh, Starlord, I have a question for you. Don't you have an Xbox 360? Is that what you told me before? I'm trying to remember. I buried something into Deadpool.
I'm gonna come.
I totally buried something into both of them, not just Deadpool and Wolverine too. Oh, you have an Xbox One. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to think like what kind of games we can play during our gaming stream, our celebration stream. Again, I'm planning to do a 10,000 subscriber celebration stream with a lot of you guys here, so I'm just trying to figure out what games would be good to play with everybody. I was saying they just need to show something new, and this is the way I think, something new. You will get new, you will get old, you get a good mix of both, and I think the way they handled it is really good. So all right, I think I'm going to close up shop in about 10 minutes. So whatever you guys want to talk about, let me know, because I do need to run. I didn't realize it was already 4:48, so I need to run soon. But I'm up to talk about anything. And in 5 minutes, we'll close out the polls, and then we'll look at the final results of the polls. Again, reminder: if you have seen Deadpool and Wolverine, let us know in the poll. Is Deadpool and Wolverine the best MCU movie since Avengers Endgame? Let us know. Place your votes. Let your voices be heard. Voting matters. Oh, Star, you have Game Pass. Oh, cool. All right. So that means anything on Game Pass we could probably do. That's fun. All right. Good to know. And also what's great about like games like Jackbox, like the trivia stuff, I only need to have it, right? You guys can just join in through like a web browser and all that to play along. So I think that's awesome. Or your phone. Which games did you download there, Starlord? Did you ever play the Deadpool game? That's a game I've been wanting to go back and revisit because I've never fully finished it. I played maybe 60% of it, and then life got in the way. I put it down. And yeah, I feel like I need to go revisit that game because that was a very low-key fun game. I'm surprised not a lot of people talk about that game. You'll shoot me an invite? Cool. What is my Xbox Live name? Hold on, let me look it up. Because honestly, I forgot. Oh, look at that. Xbox is having some issues. Why is that? All right, I'm going to type it out. So this is me. That's my Xbox gamer tag. You got Assassin's Creed Origins and sticking to it for a while. I might try Jedi Survivor. Jedi Survivor is a fun game. I like that game a lot. Jedi Survivor I beat last year. I completed last year, and this year I'm trying hard to complete Fallen. Wait. Hold on. Is Fallen Order is the first one, right? If Fallen Order is the first one, that's the one I beat last year. And then this year I'm trying to beat the sequel, which I think is Jedi Survivor. Right? Am I right? And then I can't wait to check out Outlaws when that comes out. I know that's an Ubisoft game, so I'm sure it's not going to be available on Game Pass day one. I may have to wait a while for that to come out, but that looks like a game that could be fun. Has potential to be fun. Yours is okay. Let me write that down. Where's my pen? Where's my pen? Is it the profile name? No, it's a gamer tag name. Is there such a thing as a profile name? I don't think so. I don't really play much multiplayer on Xbox these days. But my gamer tag is CFUT, which I typed in the chat. And then you should be able to see like the LOWKEY GEEK logo as my profile picture. Ados is saying, do you agree that this sequel to the Avengers movie is already getting boring? I think they've mixed up too many multiverses and ended up losing focus a bit. What do I think? I think the current MCU is a bit of a mess right now. The great thing about Deadpool and Wolverine is that it has nothing to do, honestly, with what's happening in the main MCU, like Avengers universe. It stands on its own, which is good. It also doesn't really do anything to push any story forward for the next Avengers movie. It has nothing to do with that. But I think right now the Marvel movies are a bit suffering, and I think they're trying very hard to fix it all. You know, I mean, Captain America, the next one, looks interesting. But at the same time, the trailer made me feel like I was watching a trailer for a TV show and not necessarily a movie. They definitely need to figure something out and close out the multiverse stuff. I think a lot of people were thinking that this movie, Deadpool and Wolverine, was going to do that. It doesn't. If anything, it just said that anything's possible that can happen. So if they ever do whatever the Secret Wars movie would be, that could be the one that would finally like close a lot of things up. But we're talking about several years from now at this point, you know. But I agree with you. There's a lot of problems with MCU right now, and I hope they can figure it out and correct it, because right now it's a little messy. It really is. All right, y'all, I'm going to be leaving in 4 minutes. So whatever else you want to talk about, shoot it over. Also, don't forget, hit that like button. Anyone watching live on the stream. Also, react. Throw a heart there if you are planning on watching Deadpool and Wolverine this weekend, or if you've already seen it. I'll go ahead and end the polls for now. I think we already know our answers from both streams. On the vertical stream, the end result is, to the question, is Deadpool and Wolverine the best MCU movie since Avengers Endgame? 65% says yes, 34% says no, out of 26 votes. So thank you so much for voting. Really greatly appreciate it. And then in the main horizontal stream, we have 71% says yes, 28% says no, out of 7 votes. So again, thank you all for voting. Very much appreciate it all. So again, reminder, I will be back live again on Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll talk about the box office results of Deadpool and Wolverine. Everyone else is going to suffer big time. All the other movies, poor movies, they're going to suffer. Twisters will probably at most make $10 million over the weekend, I think. They're going to have a huge drop because of Deadpool and Wolverine. And then we'll talk about everything that's worth talking about from San Diego Comic-Con. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Marvel stuff to talk about. You know, I'll be really excited to see what they're going to be revealing. Are we going to have another Kevin Feige on stage with a giant timeline behind him? An updated timeline? Who knows? We'll see. Christmas indeed has come early. It is Christmas in July for lovers of Marvel and Deadpool and Wolverine. Christmas in July. So this is Christmas. And what have you done? I gave you Wolverine and Deadpool with a gun.
Yeah!
Ho, 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 that box office. That's right. Marvel and Disney are going to be ho, ho, hoing all the way to the bank. Telling you. Bars? You want to go to a bar? What do you mean bars? I may have to get some food the minute I stop streaming. I am so hungry. Like, I feel it. I feel like empty. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me. Little shop of humor. Ados, which character do you think should be explored more in MCU? Which of them have potential but are being left out? I think that's a hard question. I think right now, outside of the Fantastic Four, which we're finally going to get, and whatever they decide to do with X-Men, which is yet to be determined, I would prefer they don't introduce any more new characters. I think they need to figure out how to focus on everyone that they've introduced us to and where they really want to go with these people. So I would prefer they don't introduce any more new characters and figure stuff out with what we have going on now. Separately, I can't wait for Daredevil to pop up on Disney Plus, because that's a character that I think we're missing right now. A more grounded, more relatable type of character. Yeah, we got him in She-Hulk, but he was like a parody of himself at that point. But I would really love them to focus on who the main bad guy is supposed to be. You know, when Thanos was the main villain in the MCU, we had years and years and years of speculation, wondering how he's going to play a part in all of this, wondering when that final battle will take place. And what we got was glorious, was unbelievable. They need to figure out who that person is going to be next. Because Kang obviously ain't it no more. And even Kang himself felt very not fully thought out, you know, if I'm to be completely honest. So if I had a choice, I think, and again, with Fantastic Four coming out, I think Doctor Doom is a must. We need Doom to be around for a while. We need him to be the guy behind the curtain, plotting, figuring stuff out. You know, if Galactus is going to be a part of that, you know, I could see there be potential, like maybe I help you, you help me kind of thing, you know? So, if anything, I think Marvel needs to focus on who their bad guy is going to be in order for people to be really invested as to what the stakes are like for these heroes that we are being introduced to and these heroes that we're constantly trying to follow. Because right now, there's no major stakes. There's no major threat, which leads to no real care, you know? And at least with Deadpool and Wolverine, it gave us something that we could care about for the moment. Because we like this character. This guy is funny. He's crazy. He's funny. We love Wolverine. Everyone loves Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. You know? And now they're together. We get to see them have their little adventure together. It works. And at the end of the day, when the story's all said and done, we're not left hanging, oh, what's going to happen with these two? Because anything can happen. At least we know now that they are part of the MCU in a certain way. And I can be patient, you know? So, be a Marvel disciple, not a Disney Judas. That's right. Don't do it.
Yeah! You blew it! Fuck off!
Oh my.
Hey, how about you thank them, dickless? I'm gonna come.
Wow.
Okay. Well, there you go. I just went through my entire soundboard. All right, y'all. I think that is where I'm going to call it for now. I got to go jet. I got to go take care of some stuff on my end for the rest of my Friday. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining in on this conversation. As always, joining in on this Friday stream. Really greatly appreciate all the support and all the great conversations and all that. Huge blah, 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 blah. Let's try that again, shall we? Huge shout out to Star-Lord 7. Always appreciate you, my man. Always appreciate you. Jester, always a pleasure having you on the stream. Karthik, who joined in earlier and chimed in earlier. RL, I don't know exactly what you were trying to say, but I appreciate you tuning in. And then, of course, on the vertical stream, Ados, always a pleasure having you here. MJ2 Studios, Ravi and Sorana. Arnold briefly joined in. Clone Wars for Life. Again, I wish him luck on his competition tomorrow. I hope he does well. I hope he kills it. Scorched and Anoop. Greatly appreciate all those people who joined in. Brittany even saying hi. And for all of you guys just watching, even if you didn't comment, thank you so much for tuning in and you know, enjoying the stream. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. A great way to show that you did is hitting that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. And one last time, react. Throw hearts up in there if you're planning on watching Deadpool and Wolverine this weekend. Show your love and support and all that. All right, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful rest of your day. I will be back live again on Monday. Until then, stay cool, stay classy, stay safe. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace out, y'all. Bye-bye.